Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty content we have coming. Now in today's video, I'm going to go over a bunch of different tips, tricks, and hacks to use with Cricut Design Space that I wish I would have known when I was a beginner because it would have saved me so much hassle. These tips, tricks, and hacks are going to change your life when it comes to working with Cricut Design Space. If you just got a Cricut for Christmas, I'm so excited that you got one and I can't wait for you to learn how to use it. I really encourage you not to get discouraged with yourself or with the learning process. Remember that mistakes are meant to be made so that you can learn from them. I have lots of great, easy to follow tutorials here on YouTube and a ton of great beginner content coming for all of you. Now, even if you're an expert with your Cricut, I think that this video is still going to have some tips, tricks, or hacks that maybe you didn't know, or as a great refresher, especially with the updates made to Design Space. So let's head over to Cricut Design Space and get started.
Whatever we would do it just for fun.
Over in Design Space, there are two options that you can use when working with Cricut Design Space. If you go into your settings, which is under the three lines, go to settings, and you're going to see there's a couple of different options right here. Language, choose whatever language you want it in. And then here we have saving for offline, which you can save cloud and computer or cloud only. By saving from the cloud and the computer, it just means that everything that I have is saved both in the internet cloud, so I can access it from my phone, my other computer, pretty much anywhere that I can get into Design Space. But by saving it to cloud only, that just means that it's kind of up in the air and it's in the cloud. I prefer to always save on cloud and computer. That way it's both places. Now, right here under Application Experience, this is the one that for me is super important. So the live version is the version that you're likely going to be see most people using. The live version is basically the version that Cricut, the team, puts out and is saying, this is our newest version for the public to use. We've fixed the bugs, so to speak. This is what we're putting out into the public. But what you can do is use the beta version. Using the beta version, I have actually found has less glitches, and it offers you the updates a lot quicker than what you're getting them if you're using the live version. So for example, I got the combine option before just about everybody else because I always work in beta. I highly recommend working in beta just because I've had so much better luck working in beta. I have far less issues, it's just a lot less glitchy, and it seems to work quite a bit faster. So I do recommend trying out beta versus live for a while just to see if you like it. But that's just a quick little tip, trick, hack that you can do just to see if you like the way that that works better than using the live version. Another option under your settings, so go to those three lines and go to settings. If you go under where it says canvas, you can also change the units of measure. So you can either choose metric or imperial. And a lot of people are like, well, what's imperial? Imperial is what we use here in America. I don't remember what they used to call it all of a sudden, but they have changed the name to imperial within the last few years. And that is the type of units that I personally measure in, but you also have the option of metric, which is much more worldwide used. So I really like that they offer both of those options, and you can just select between whichever one you're most comfortable working with. Having grid lines on your Cricut Design Space can either be super helpful, super annoying, or you really don't care. But I'm going to show you a couple ways to either change up your grid lines or get rid of them completely. The first way to do that is to go up into the three little lines up here and go into your settings option, which is just about halfway down. If you choose that, you're going to see that you have a couple of different options up here at the top. If you go to canvas, you can actually change your grid from full grid to partial grid, which if you look in the background, you can see that that's just the big boxes. It doesn't have the small ones. And then you can also just go to no grid, also an option. Once you've selected the option that you want, just simply click done. That is one way to do it, but there's an even quicker way. If you go to the box that's right here between the 0 and the 0 and you click on that, that's going to bring up your grid as well. So you can see I can do no grid, partial grid, or full grid. So that's a great way that you can use the gridding system in Design Space very, very quickly. For this, I'm just going to bring up a couple of shapes so that I can show you kind of what I'm talking about and where it makes life just a little bit easier. So I'm just going to take this square and I'm just going to duplicate him twice. And what I want to do is I'm going to just change the color of one square to white, and let's just change the other one to like a light gray. Now, if I was going to work with print and cut with these, it's going to hide the outline of my white square. So if I change my operation over here into a print and cut, you'll notice that it looks like my square is completely gone. This is a great hack if you are working with anything white, or you just want to see what something's going to look like on the color item you're putting it on. Go down here to where it says blank canvas and click on that. Up at the top, right under where you'll see like the title name of your design, which typically is going to say untitled unless you've saved something, you see this little option that says color. Click on this little white square and you can change the color of your background so that you can actually see the white things that you're working with better, or get an idea of what those things will look like on your colored project. You can also have the grids on with your color if you so choose to. It's up to you. But being able to change the color of the canvas is such a game changer. And if you're working with something you want to put on a black shirt or black blank, you can just change this to any color that you want to. One thing that I really love about the color options in Design Space is that there's an advanced feature. All you'll need to do is select the color option right next to your operation and then choose this advanced option. What's great about this is you could either put a hex code in if you know what your hex code is, or you can use the slide bar just to play around with it and try to get a color close to what you're working with. So if you're working with a specific HTV or a vinyl or a leather, anything like that, you can either know the hex code and type in down here at the bottom, or you can simply use this slide bar. And this has every color that you could possibly need, so it's really helpful to be able to use that just to get a better idea of what your colors are going to look like together. So for this one, I've brought in some different images and things from Design Space because I want to show you that you can actually rename your layers. So you'll see here that I have this dolphin. I'm going to ungroup the dolphin just so I have different layers here, and you can actually rename them. So we can actually call this, let's call this dolphin animal. And then this one here is just like his accents. So I'm just going to call this one accents. This one we can call sunshine. And then this one down here we can call water. That's going to help us know which pieces are which when we're selecting them over here in our layers panel. They are a little bit small and sometimes hard to see. You can change this one if you wanted to call it like blue, snow, whatever you want to do. You can change the name of any of your layers. So like I want to print and cut this one, I can just tell it that it's going to be a print and cut. And then you can change the name of your layer just to help you know what parts you're actually using in your design. In Design Space, if you are working with some projects and let's say I want my name to be the same color as our sunshine here, it's really easy to do. Rather than trying to select the correct color from this layers panel here, this materials color, just go to the word color sync up here at the top of your layers panel. Then what you'll see is that you have the different layers with their names on them, so it helps you really figure out what layer is what and which color you want it to be. You're also provided with the hex codes, so that's pretty helpful too. But what you can do is just simply click on the item that you want to be the same color and then drag it under the same hex code name as the color you want it to be. Now you'll see that my name is the same color as my sunshine. You can do that with any of your layers and you can make them all the same color as you want. It doesn't matter. And if you change your mind, you can just simply drag it to a new color. This is a super helpful thing, especially if you want items to be the same color, or if you brought in a project and for some reason it's bringing up two black mats. Sometimes one black can be a little bit lighter or darker than the other one. So by using color sync, you're really able to very quickly make sure they're all the same color. I'm going to use my dolphin for this next little hack that I think is super helpful. So let's say that we're making this dolphin for a child's birthday party and we want to put this on a bunch of cups. So we need 10 of them. Rather than selecting the entire design and choosing duplicate and having 10 of them on our canvas, which can sometimes cause Design Space to slow down, not work well, what you can do is go over to the Make It screen, and right here at the top it says Project Copies. All you'll need to do is that you tell it that you want 10 of these copies, so you want 10 total designs. Click Apply, and what you'll see is that it adds those 10 images. So now I have 10 sunshines, 10 accent pieces, 10 dolphins, and 10 pieces of water. That's just a really easy way to tell Design Space, I need to make multiples of this item, but I don't want to slow you down over in the projects area on your canvas. This is a great way to make multiple copies of the same project over and over again, saving yourself both time and space with your Cricut. I have two versions of my name here, and what is kind of cool about these is I'm going to show you a way that you can find out what font you used after you've done things like weld or unite. So right now, if I click on them because I haven't done anything, you can easily see the font right here where it says Billy Sands, and then this one I used Amalfi Coast. Easy, really simple, but what if I need to unite them or weld them? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to weld this one here, which is going to be our Amalfi Coast. And then this one, I'm just going to simply do unite, because unite can be undone. It's a little bit different. So if you've used unite on your words, it's basically the same thing as welding them, but you're able to undo it. But now if I click on my name, you'll notice that it doesn't tell me what font I used on either one of these projects. So if you still need to know, you can simply just go down to combine and click undo unite. And then when you click the word again, you'll see that you see the font. However, because this one is welded and you can't undo a weld, what you'll do is you're going to right click on your design, and all the way here at the bottom, see where it says image info? Now this can be hard to see, but it says selected font Amalfi Coast. Now one thing I've noticed is a lot of people say, oh, I can't see it or I don't see it. Sometimes it's because it decides it's going to open this direction. If it does that, just reduce the size of your design space and then check your image info. This is a great little hack if you've forgotten what font you used or you're using an old project and you're like, I really want to use that font again, but I don't know what it was because I did this long before Unite was even an option. That's a great way to know what font you used and makes it super simple so that you never have to worry again about not using a font that you want to use. If you have Design Space access, you have an option to have as many different collections as you want to. I believe without access you have 5 collections, which you can still make work. But what I love about collections is it makes it super easy to take your projects and put them into a folder so that they're all really well organized. So all I simply have to do is click these 3 dots, click edit collections, and then I just need to select where it says Christmas and click done. I can do that to each of the items that I want to add to any collection that I have. I can also add a new collection. So if I wanted to do this and edit collections, I can click new collection, and let's just change this to print and cut. And then all I have to do is simply click create and choose done. You can add things to multiple collections as well if you want to. So if you hit edit collections and I want to add this to both print and cut and Christmas and planner stickers or whatever I want to add it to, I can do that and then simply click done. If I want to access those because I know I'm looking for a Christmas project, I can simply click Christmas and you'll see that all of my different collections are right here. Now, for whatever reason, sometimes it has one highlighted. You just have to close the little box. But you can see these are sort of my Christmas items that I've put into my collection. I don't have a ton in here, but I'll get around to adding more eventually. But this is a great way to stay organized, to help yourself really be able to find things. And you can see, like, for example, my stickers collection is much fuller than my other collections. My Disney collection is also super full. So there's just a lot of different collections that you can make and ways to keep yourself super organized. Working with fonts, you may find something that you absolutely love, and it's hard to remember the name sometimes. So let's go into our system fonts and find a font that we really like. I actually really like this one right here, this Antoque slant one. So what I want to do is there's this little item right here. Do you see this little bookmark? If you click on that, it's going to save it into your bookmarked fonts. So let's find a couple other fonts that we can add. Stuff that I use a lot or I just really like. I'm just going to add a couple, and you can add however many you want. If there's like a specific font maybe you use for your branding or you use it a lot, I would recommend clicking that little bookmark. That way, when we're ready to choose a font some other time, select your text, go to your font selection, and go to your bookmarked fonts. What you'll see is the fonts that you saved are selected right here in the bookmarks. You can even bookmark your favorite Cricut fonts as well, so it's super easy if you decide that you like any of those fonts, and you'll see them over here. If you all of a sudden decide you don't like that font, you can just simply remove the bookmark and just unclick that little green bookmark, and you can change up whatever fonts you have bookmarked. This is just a super easy way to help you find a font faster if you use something a lot. It's a great little feature and a great little hack to help you design faster, design smarter with Cricut Design Space. Now, let's say that we're in Design Space and we want to find an old item that we uploaded. I uploaded this really cute castle design and I scrolled and I couldn't find it. So what I'm going to do is, and this is why naming your images is kind of important, we're going to choose the word castle up here in the search term, and I'm just going to click search and see what comes up. I found the exact castle that I was looking for, but I also found a bunch of other images that fall under the castle name. That's why I always say to name your images when you upload them so that you can easily find them later when you're going to search. I'm going to select my castle image and add it to my canvas. Simple as that, I was able to find the design that I had been looking for forever without having to scroll. I hit make it on the castle image to show you an option here because I want you to see if you've got something that you don't need to cut. I don't need to cut this black outline because of the way the items are lined up on the design. If you want something not to cut and you forgot in the other screen on your canvas, all you simply need to do is click these three dots and choose hide selected. That's going to make it so it's not going to cut that image out. It's just going to skip right over it. Because you can see I have the full background here, which will show up just fine. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit just so I can show you a quick little trick. So let's say that this item, I'm going to just cut it in the same color as something else because it'll fit on that mat. If you want to move it to another mat, all you simply need to do is select these three dots, choose Move Object, and then choose the mat that you want to move it to. Then click Confirm. You'll want to move the item that you just put over there just so that it's not overlapping your other design parts, and you're good to go. That's going to save you some vinyl. You can also move images on your screen, like on your mat here, if you want to change where it's going to cut. Let's say you know that you have a piece of vinyl that has this corner cut out, so you want it to cut over here. You can absolutely just simply move it over. That's true for any of the colors, and if you would rather use the bottom of your mat, you can do that too. You can turn things on your mat. It's all just a matter of playing with these little options, so it's really easy to just make things fit better for the way that you want them to on your mats. Now, let's say that I want to put this design on a certain sized item. And I know that my item, I can put it in a 6-inch space. Rather than messing with the size of the design and just assuming it's going to fit, what I can do is I can use a template. So all I need to do is open up a shape, and I know that my space is a square size. So all I have to do is change the size of my square to fit the size of the space that I'm working with. Because if I were to actually make this 6 inches, it might not really fit exactly. So you may want to play with it and see what fits. Now you'll notice that it is showing up behind my square. All you simply need to do is click on your square, right click on that, and click Send to Back. This way I can realign my design a little bit better to the way I want it to look. So this will just help you size it a little bit better because you want to have a little leeway between the edge of your spacing and where your design is going to sit. Now you'll see that I have a really well designed size that's going to fit in the space I have for my blank. Another great option is that you can actually just change this square, this gray square here, to a guide, meaning that it won't even notice it if you go to click Make It if you don't delete it. As it stands right now, you would need to delete this shape in order for it not to cut it out because we don't want it. But if you choose Guide, it just makes it a little red template that you can use as basically an outline just to show you where your item would fit into your space. This is a great option because now when I click Make It, it's not going to cut out that square. It's just going to have the different pieces of my castle versus having that really useless square that I don't want to cut out anyways, and then I can save it, and that way I'll always have this little template. This is a great option if you needed to make something in a circle, in a square, whatever size you need. Templates like this are fantastic. I hope that this Design Space tips, tricks, and hacks video for beginners really helped you out and taught you some things that I really think are going to make crafting so much easier, especially if you have just gotten a Cricut. Even if you've used Cricut for years, I think some of these little tips, tricks, and hacks are things that people forget about and are super important to remember. They save you so much time, so much hassle, and it makes designing a lot easier. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Don't forget to subscribe, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!